what stress are you undergoing, or what stress did you undergo 3 months ago?
Hello and welcome to the Feminine as Fuck podcast. I'm your host, Monica Yates, a period and ICF certified women's life coach, and I help women to harness the power of their period and connect to their feminine flow. In these episodes, we will be talking about all things periods, hormones, confidence, health, food, money, sex, business, feminine flow, your brain, energy, and all the stuff that goes through our heads. You will walk away from each episode with new chicken nuggets and truth bombs, as I don't have a filter and I love talking about all the shit that people are thinking but too afraid to say.
Ladies, this is an episode for the ladies. I mean, if you're a man, you can listen to this one as well because you might find it interesting, but it doesn't really apply to you. We are talking today about where the fuck has your period gone. I realize I haven't actually done a separate episode about this. I've dropped things through my period episodes, but I've been getting some DMs lately about I've lost my period. What do I do to get it back? Now, please, firstly, do not send me. I know I say it, but I need to repeat myself, which is fine. Please do not send me DMs asking how do I get my period back? Obviously you can ask which episodes X, Y, and Z, and I'm just going to direct you to episodes, to be honest. Or Sarah will, if she's answering my DMs, because I have such a big influx that I'm I literally can't deal with these. They're so stressful. So then Sarah replies to them. Point being is that when you're asking for free advice, I'm not going to give it to you. It's just point blank. And if that triggers you, go listen to the episode about stop expecting free shit, because I went on my rant in there. I honestly can't. It's ethically wrong anyway for me to be giving you guys advice through DMs. And I do not have the time in my fucking day. I do not have the time in my day. Otherwise, I'd be doing more podcast episodes or I'd be doing on my Instagram lives. But yeah, I really don't have the time of the day. It's already 9:20 p.m. and I'm just sitting down, just finished having some dinner. I just don't really have the time generally. So between trying to maintain relationships, I just don't have the time. So here it is, an episode about where the fuck has my period gone. So I've asked you guys to leave some questions, which you have in my Instagram stories. I'm going to pull them up now. And then I've also written out a few things that I'm going to mention, and hopefully this clears things up. Now, first thing is, if you have not enrolled at MMM level 1 or 2, get on that shit. Any questions, just send me a DM. Questions not about how much is the program. Look it up on the website. If you send me those questions, it actually makes my blood boil, because I'm you haven't even looked up the fucking website. Please, guys, look up the website. But if you're wondering whether it's a good fit for you, or do we learn about X, totally send me a DM or send me an email and I will reply. Because I want to make sure that it's the right fit for you, and I don't want you doing a program that's not the right fit for you. Reminder, MMM and those self-paced programs do not cover deep trauma work. That is for when you're working with me in a live one-on-one kind of container, like Queen Alchemy, or any one-on-one containers or one-on-one add-ons to group programs. Okay, so period, where the fuck has it gone? First thing is stress. No, actually before that, if you are on the pill, you don't have a period, you don't have a cycle, so you can just click out of this episode and you can go listen to any of the hormonal birth control episodes. Shelby will link the links below to those ones, or not even the links, maybe just Shelby just leave the numbers of the episodes. If you're on the pill, you don't have a cycle, so you don't even need to worry about that. If you've lost your quote unquote period on the pill, you don't have a period. That's a drug induced bleed. On the pill, it actually isn't a period because you don't have a cycle. So it's just made so that you don't feel like your body's broken when you're on the pill, or that something's wrong, but actually something is fucking wrong because you're stopping your cycle. But go listen to those episodes about that. I'm not anti-pill, I'm anti-education. So go listen to those episodes. So if you're on the pill, click out, go listen to that. If you've come off the pill, or if you have been off the pill for a while and you got your period back naturally and now it's disappeared, or maybe all of a sudden it's disappeared, these are a few things that I want you guys to be thinking about. Now, rule of thumb, firstly, is if you miss one cycle, don't stress. It's when you miss 3 or more periods, or if you miss 2 or more periods, even if you're missing that bleed. If you got a bit of a wonky cycle once or twice, don't get too worried about it, because things happen in life that affect our cycles, especially if you're quite sensitive to things. But if it's been 3 or more cycles, you definitely need to listen the fuck up and take some notes. Other thing also is it takes 3 months often to notice a change in your cycle. So, for example, if you went vegan in January, you may not know that the vegans affected your cycle until April or like March, a few months later, because it actually takes 90 days for your follicle to come around into ovulation. And then whether or not you ovulate will then obviously affect whether or not you get your period. FYI, you can get your period and not ovulate, and ovulation is the most important part of your cycle. But as a rule of thumb, we're just going to say rule of thumb for today, we're going to make a blanket statement that if you have your period, you're ovulating. And if you don't have your period, then you're not ovulating. That's what we're going to make as a blanket statement, because remembering, guys, this shit's complex and I cannot diagnose you. Please do not take what I'm saying as a diagnosis, because I don't know your individual scenario. That's where booking with me one-on-one is the best way to go. Now, second thing I want to also say is like, please remember the energetics behind this. Some of you may be like newer to my work or whatever it is. That's fine. I see time and time again, and it is proven in my clients with missing periods that come back and PMS that disappears, the energy and the way that your relationship is with feminine energy and your sexuality and surrendering and all these feminine things will affect your cycle. Like one of the girls that actually commented on my question box about periods was Kate. She was in one of my previous rounds of Queen Alchemy. She didn't have a period for 5 years. After the first call of Queen Alchemy, I didn't even tell her to do anything eating wise or nutrition wise. She got her period back, and she actually just wrote in the response, "No questions, just work with Monica and magic will happen. Thank you, thank you, thank you." Thank you, Kate. And this happens very frequently. It happened in this round of Queen Alchemy that one of the girls during the first call got her period after it had been missing for 2 months. Another lady was doing a throat chakra exercise that I recorded for everybody. And during the throat chakra exercise, she got her period. And she wasn't missing her period, but this is just the point of like the release, the energetics is so impactful on your cycle. And many other girls in this round of Queen Alchemy have also commented. One of them did a post and everyone was like, "Oh my God, yes, me too. No PMS," right? And nothing else has changed besides Queen Alchemy or besides working with me one-on-one or whatever the container is. So your energy is also very intertwined with where the fuck your period has gone, PMS, how your period's showing up, how your period's not showing up, X, Y, and Z. Okay, your body needs to feel safe in order for you to have a healthy cycle. So in terms of not energetic stuff, stress. If you are highly fucking stressed because of work, because of corona, because of relationship stress, because of like an accident, so a physical, like a car accident or a ski accident, X, Y, and Z. I lost mine for another like 6 months after my ski accident. Any of those can delay ovulation, and then it can also delay your period because your body is like, it's not safe to have a baby. We're running from a saber-toothed tiger. Run! But there's no saber-toothed tiger, obviously, but your body thinks there is, and therefore it's actually doing its job. It's a protective mechanism, and it's shutting down your cycle so that you don't fall pregnant because it's not the time to have a baby. So it is a protective mechanism. So what stress are you undergoing, or what stress did you undergo 3 months ago? Look at both. If you're missing a period, also look 3 months ago, because it can take 3 months to show up, like I said before. Now, this is also like you may be missing, like you may be having anovulatory cycles, and having anovulatory cycles can also be a result of stress. But we're going to talk mainly about missing periods. So hypothalamic amenorrhea or amenorrhea, it doesn't have to be hypothalamic. It could just be missing period, X, Y, and Z. Please don't also let your doctors freak you out. And please do not go on the pill to quote unquote get your period back. It doesn't get your fucking period back. It doesn't do anything because you don't have a period on the pill. You don't have a cycle. Listen to those episodes about that and stop listening to doctors that tell you the wrong fucking information. Unless it's a good doctor that tells you otherwise, don't listen to them, because I don't understand why they're so not educated about this shit. It makes my blood fucking boil. My sister went to get her bloods done the other week, and the doctor said to her, "You know, nutrition has no impact on your cycle." And my sister was just like, "Just give me my fucking test results. I'm getting out of here." Like, atrocious. I just like don't even understand people. Anyway, so next thing, so you got your stress, right? And also stress can be over-exercising. If you're doing a lot of HIIT, a lot of cardio, a lot of boxing, a lot of spin classes, a lot of running, that can also get your period to disappear. And if you lose a pile of weight really quickly, that can be it. And if your body fat percentage goes down, that can also be it. Like, you need at least 16% body fat, to be maintaining a healthy cycle. And if you're really athletic and you naturally have very, very low body fat percentage, you need to be eating plenty of food. So everyone's obviously a little bit different, but if you go from like a normal body fat percentage of like 20 to 24% as a woman, and then you all of a sudden go to like 16 or 15 or 14, it's very, very likely that you will lose your period, or your period will get really, really light. Next one is not eating enough. So like if you're not eating enough food, your body is like, we're in a famine, fuck. And now it's not the time to fall pregnant, obviously. So let's halt our production line of reproducing, basically. Let's halt our cycle. Let's halt our period. Let's halt ovulation, because we're in a famine. We need to protect your organs. We need to hold on to fat around your organs. Generally during this time, if you're really, really stressed, and also if you're not eating, you can actually increase weight around your stomach. Because your body's trying to protect itself. So if you're under eating, you will also lose your period. And if you're under eating fat, under eating protein, or under eating carbs, like any of the single food groups, as well as just overall, it's also going to affect that. Fat doesn't make you fat, guys. You need to be having enough healthy fats in your diet to get a period, because cholesterol, like healthy cholesterol, does not increase your cholesterol. One, sugar and vegetable oil and processed carbs do. What was I going to say? Cholesterol is important for you to eat because your hormones are made from cholesterol. So your estradiol, which is healthy estrogen that helps get your period, helps bring your period, helps ovulation, it gives you glowing skin, it gives you curves, it gives you gives you boobs. Though that healthy estradiol is made from fat. So if you're not eating fat, your body's not going to be making estradiol. Okay, so please make sure that you're doing that. And then also make sure that you're eating enough protein, and that you're obviously eating enough carbs as well. And carbs can be in the form of like fruit, sweet potato. If you can digest grains, fine, but sprout them. And obviously, as a rule of thumb, try to avoid a pile of like bread and pasta that's been processed, except for when you're in Italy or traveling, or like on the weekend when you're like eating it for pleasure, not eating it for comfort food. That's like a rule of thumb with all food, guys. Like if you're eating for pleasure, go for it, is what I think. And then if you're eating as like comfort, then like don't go for it. If you want like comfort food, roast a ginormous pile of fucking vegetables and like drown them in like pesto, and then eat that as your comfort food, because like the vegetables or the fiber will fill you up so much more, and you're not going to be like, your body isn't secreting your brain isn't secreting serotonin from eating carbs, like from eating like pasta, and therefore you're not going to keep craving like 10 more bowls no matter how full you are. You'll eat the giant bowl of vegetables, then you'll be full, and then you're not going to want more, because like it's not, you don't get a giant serotonin released from like fucking broccoli, but you do from carbs. Anyway, so not eating enough, lack of sleep. If you're not having enough sleep, if you're not sleeping in pitch black, if you've got a fucked sleep cycle, or if you are like not going to bed at a regular time every night, so like around the same time every night, your body's rhythm gets messed up. And then obviously your cycle, because your cycle is similar, like we as women are very cyclical beings, it's also going to affect your cycle. Not only will it affect your cycle like in terms of like rhythm, but also it's going to affect your melatonin levels, and your melatonin levels are going to affect your ovulation. So that can also cause your period to disappear. Traveling, the stress of traveling causes your period to disappear. And then also changing time zones, like changing the quality of your water, changing light, changing pollution. All those things, again, can affect your cycle, because those things aren't your classic normal. They are different, and different in your body can mean like danger. We need to adapt, and therefore we need to be putting our resources towards our extremities, towards our important organs, not towards our cycle. Okay, so if you ever lose your period when you're traveling, don't stress about it. As rule of thumb, again, if you've lost it for 3 months, then you start to get like a little bit more like, oh, there's cause for concern here. But like if you miss it 1 month, not a big deal. Or if it's late 1 month, not a big deal. Okay, if you're holding on to something energetically, that can also cause your period to disappear. Or if you've had like a very, very tough month emotionally, if you are holding on to the belief of like women are weak, feminine is bad, if you don't feel safe because of like whatever reason, and like a lot of us think we feel safe, but we actually don't, that can stop your period from disappearing, from coming as well. So hence, this is why I combine the rational mind, the foods, the exercise, the hormones with all the energetics. Like that's why I'm not just like, oh, eat this food and your period will be fine. I'm like everything. Like I know the healthy eating stuff. I fucking love understanding nutrition, it's my jam. I love it, X, Y, and Z. And I'm really good at teaching about that stuff. And I'm really good at coaching around food and your relationship with food. But the energetics is so important. And I definitely feel like sometimes people just go straight for the nutrition when it's normally an energetics thing, because like if you're eating healthy, you're generally going to be fucking fine. And it's like you can spend so much time and money on supplements when it's an energetic thing, and then you're like, oh, and then you have to go kind of backwards and redo the energetic and whatnot. So I always think you're better off doing the energetic and then doing nutrition, because if you've done the energetic, it doesn't work, then at least you know it's definitely nutrition, because nutrition can take a long time to see results, whereas energetic tends to be very, very quick. That's why I say energetic first, but obviously with me, it's like combo of both, and that's obviously the double whammy. If you've been eating different foods or you've changed your diet, that can, like, just guys think change. Like if you've changed your diet, if you've gone from eating meat to like being vegan all of a sudden, that will affect it. If you've gone from like eating raw to eating a pile of like fucking cooked stuff, that could affect it. If you're going the other, if actually it's more so the other way. If you're going from like eating cooked to all of a sudden eating everything fucking raw, that could affect it. If you're like doing intermittent fasting, that can affect it. If you're waiting till like 1 p.m. to eat meals, if you're skipping meals, if you are waiting 6 hours between meals and you're not used to that, all these things can affect it because they stress your body out. Just think of it like, could my body be stressed right now? If it's a yes, then there you go. If you all of a sudden go really, really low carb, that could affect it. Or if you go really high fat, that could affect it. Like there's a lot of different things. So just be rational, think about it, like what's changed? It's probably fucking that. Someone DM me being like, I went vegan a few months ago and now lost my period. Like, why have I lost my period? I'm like, you've basically answered your own question. Like, sounds like vegan. And again, I don't know because I don't have your whole life in front of me. I need your whole life in front of me. I need what's happening emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically for you. And then also last thing, if you have and then I'll go through these questions. If you have low estrogen, that's also going to affect your cycle, and also low progesterone. So if you have low estrogen, it's often going to show up in like really light periods or really short periods or no periods. Your boobs might shrink. You might start to lose some of your curves or get really like moody, and your libido can start to drop off. That's signs of like low estrogen, and it seems to run in my family actually. And you need to get that fixed as well. So there you go. Okay, so let's go through some of these questions to answer them. Thoughts on only 2-day periods each month? That's too short. Also be looking at like the color of your periods. Are they like a delicious, robust red, or are they a bit brown? Are they a bit cloddy? Is there a lot of spotting? If you got stagnant energy in your life, that can affect your period. That can affect your flow. And then also if your circulation isn't very good, that can affect like the spotting and everything. 2-day period, I mean, I obviously don't know like what exactly your period is like, but it sounds a bit too short to me just from like from the sentence you've said to me. Generally a 2-day period, it's going to be too short. You want like 4 days at least, and not at least, you want 4 days. Like 3 to 5 is like optimal. I think 4 is perfect. What was I going to say? And it sounds like you may also have low estrogen. Okay, next question. Got my period, disappeared after a few days and came back a few days later. Suggestions. Oh, that's not like a where's my period gone question. When that happens, it can be sometimes like we have kinks in the walls of our vagina. Your blood can actually have just gotten like stuck for a day, and that's what can happen. Also, if you're like energetically like you release when you have your period, if you're like holding on to something, you're not letting yourself release, that can be it energetically. And then generally when things aren't flowing perfectly in your cycle, guys, you can pretty much always assume there's a hormonal imbalance. So go and listen to some of my other hormone episodes. Next question, how long can it take to get a period back after coming off the pill, and when to worry? It can take, like, sometimes for some people, 18 months to 2 years. So they generally say when you've come off the pill, if you don't get your period within 3 months, then you have to worry. Then you have hypothalamic amenorrhea, or like whatever the fuck they fucking doctors diagnose you with, everything basically. That's it, you're going to die. It's bullshit. Like, guys, the longer you've been on the pill, someone DM me today, they've been on the pill for 10 years. Oh, that was the chick that DM'd about vegan. She's on the pill for 10 years, always had a period, not a period, but she thinks she's had a period, and then went vegan, and now her period's gone. I'm like, right, well, you need to get off the pill And you need to not be vegan, obviously, because your body can't handle it. And like, if you want to be vegan and you feel fucking amazing on it and your body feels great, then that's great, like beautiful. But I fucking can't do that. I know that I need meat. Everyone's different. No shame to anybody. What I will say, and just fucking take this and don't make some assumption or don't jump to any conclusions. When the time comes that you want to conceive, go listen to my fertility foods episode and don't be vegan. And I'm just going to leave it there and go and listen to that episode and it will all make sense. But if you want a healthy baby and you want to be healthy during the pregnancy and postpartum and you want your kid to have a healthy life and not have health problems, do not be vegan for a full year before you conceive, and then during your pregnancy, and then after your pregnancy when you're breastfeeding. Okay? And don't fucking send me hate shit about that, because I'm just going to block and delete you. So how long can it take to get a period back after coming off the pill? It took me 18 months. Some people get it straight away. Some people take it longer. Honestly, every single person is different. If you haven't gotten your period for, I would say, 5 to 7 months after coming off the pill, and you are doing all the right things, you have got, this is also why you need to go and invest the money in my coming off hormonal birth control masterclass, which I've actually discounted right now with Corona, and I've forgotten to undiscount it. So grab that before I undiscount it. Is that even a word? I don't know. That's why I created that. You need to be doing that whilst you're on the pill before you even come off it. And if you're already off the pill, it's fine. You can still do it, or any hormonal birth control, you can still do it. If you have estrogen dominance, do it. Like, even if you have estrogen dominance and like bad PMS, you will actually still heal so much of your shit from that masterclass. If you don't want to get turning off your period problems program, that one's more in depth. It goes through PCOS, endo, every PMS issue. I like unpack and give you stuff to do. So that is more in depth, turning off your period problems program. But the hormonal birth control masterclass, you fucking need to do it. You need to do it whether you come off the pill or whether you want to come off the pill. You need to do it, and it's going to stop this giant lag, because nobody teaches you how to come off the pill naturally, and the fucking doctors don't tell you how. And that's why you get this giant lag, or you can have this massive rebound where you have a really terrible time coming off the pill. So go and do that. And everybody's different for the time that it's going to take coming off the pill. But if it's been like 5 months or more, then you need to start not worrying like you'll get your period back, but you actually need to start taking some fucking action, as opposed to twiddling your fingers and your thumb, and like spend some money on yourself and get the masterclass. Okay, next one. The effects of stress on missing period, 4 years. Oh, okay. And advice on how to deal. Well, you've answered your own question. You need to get rid of your stress, basically. Sounds like it's going to be wound into your nervous system. Like, guys, things like trauma, like any trauma, from mum saying no when you were little to like being raped, the whole spectrum of trauma, it affects your nervous system. And if your nervous system is jacked, you're in that fight or flight and you're not going to get your period. So this is why I do this shit. You need to come to me. You need to go on the wait list for 101 or for Queen Alchemy or for whatever. And if you're not familiar with my work, fucking stalk the shit out of me, get my bundle, whatever you want to do. My work is amazing, basically. I mean, I'm teaching now like 13 women through the certification how to do it. It's potent, magical shit. If you've been stressed and you've missed your period for 4 years, no amount of supplements is going to fix this. You need to get rid of the stress, right? Whatever that looks like for you. But I can tell you right now, no amount of meditation is going to necessarily get rid of that stress, because that's going to be wound into your nervous system. If you're stressed for like a small amount of time, then that can be like undone with like some meditation if you nip it in the bud early. But if you haven't had a period for 4 years, that's no amount of fucking meditation or like journaling is going to help. You need to like reset your nervous system with moi. But in the meantime, obviously doing your meditation, anything that makes you feel relaxed is obviously going to be really helpful. Next question, 14 months postpartum, stopped birth control 4 months ago, breastfeeding 4 months ago, had PCOS pre-baby. I don't know what that question is. That's not a question. 14 months postpartum, stopped birth control 4 months ago. You shouldn't be on birth control postpartum. Had PCOS pre-baby. I don't know what the question is. You'll have to ask me again. Guys, you don't need to go on. Oh my God, my cousin had a baby and they were like trying to shove her on the pill. She's like, what the fuck? Guys, your body knows what it's fucking doing. You're not going to fall pregnant after giving birth. You're breastfeeding. You can't fall pregnant until you have a fucking cycle. I feel like people don't actually know this. Like, if you are bleeding and if you're ovulating, you can fall pregnant. And if you're not, you can't fall pregnant. If you're breastfeeding, you cannot fall pregnant. That's why we breastfeed as well, because our body's like, I'm not in a place to have another kid. And this is again why it's so powerful to actually be trusting your body and knowing your cycle, so you don't have to go on birth control, because that shit also goes into your baby, which you don't want. So go back to listen to my episode of You Can't Get Preggers at Any Time and know your cycle, and maybe send through a question instead of just like a comment. How low self-esteem and body confidence impacts your period. Well, if you don't love yourself and you don't feel safe in your body, which is going to be that, then obviously your period's not going to come, because your subconscious is what communicates. Your brain communicates to your ovaries. And if your brain is communicating, I'm not good enough, I'm fucked, X, Y, and Z, that causes you stress, a very subconscious stress in your body. And so you'll lose your period or have shit PMS. I'm 15 years old and haven't had a period 11 months, had anorexia for 4 months, 6 months ago, and still no period. Okay. So when you're younger, you can get your period and then it can disappear for a while and then come back. Super normal. 15 is kind of young still, so would not be worried. If you were like 20, it'd be a different story. If you had anorexia for 4 months, it's only 6 months later. Right. Okay. So you've only given yourself 2 months, to get your period back. It's going to take much longer than that, because when you have anorexia, your whole body shuts down and there's no place for a cycle in there, no place to have a baby, and you're not going to have any body fat per se. Depends how like anorexic that you were. I would not be worrying for another year, to be honest. You need to heal your anorexia and heal your brain and your trauma. When I say heal your brain, I don't mean like in like a condescending, like, oh, heal your brain. I mean like actually you need to heal your brain, because your brain is going to be like having a messed up pattern in it. And don't worry about your period right now. Also, you're young, so do not worry about your period. You need to like heal your anorexia and mental health before you worry about your period. Okay, I'm the opposite. Mine comes early every month. That's low progesterone, generally speaking. Or you were doing some energetic practice that like caused a release and then you got your period. Came off pills 6 months ago. Periods were fine, and then they disappeared for months. Okay, so what else happened during that time after your periods came back for those 6 months? At that 6 month mark or whatever, what then happened during that time? Was there emotional stress? Did you break up with your boyfriend or your girlfriend? Was there stress around uni? Did you lose your job? Did you start eating differently? Were you exercising differently? Did you move anywhere? Have your sleep patterns changed? What else has been happening during that time? That is going to be a high likelihood of the reason why your period has disappeared. Okay, and then last question. Some others might come through, but when I'm sleeping, but too bad, because these answer actually like a lot of areas, so that's fine. Okay, so the next question is, what does high DHEA levels mean in relation to hormones getting your period back? Okay, so high levels of DHEA. DHEA is a hormone produced by like your body's adrenal glands. So like if you've got really high cortisol, you're going to have high DHEA. Generally, also, you're going to get like a low thyroid. If you've got high cortisol, your thyroid will also plummet. You can also start to get like abnormal hair growth, whether it's like black hairs on your chin, whether it's like any abnormal like male patterned hair. You can also like a deepening of throat or like increased acne, and that's in relation to high DHEAs, because it can also increase your testosterone. And so what it can mean is then it fucks your hormones, obviously, because if you've got high adrenaline and if you've got high cortisol, you're not going to get your period. You can have high testosterone levels as well. And that will, if you've got high testosterone levels as a woman, generally it's a result of stress. And so the stress is actually going to cause your period to shut down. So that's what that is basically. Yeah. Also, if you know that you have high DHEA, why didn't someone tell you that? So yeah, what does high DHEA levels mean in relation to your hormones getting your period back? That you need to lower your DHEA levels, basically lower your cortisol, lower your adrenaline in order to get your period back. So remember, ladies, it can take a while to get your period back. Key things: do not over-exercise. Please listen to my episodes about exercise. Go back and listen to all of the episodes in relation to periods, hormonal birth control, the different phases of your cycle, understanding your cycle, how to not get pregnant, fertility foods. What other ones have I done? I did a recent one about like the different phases of your cycle and just like living in them. Do not overexercise. Do not undereat. Do not overstress. Make sure that you are having fun. Live your life. Drink alcohol. Go out with friends. Dance. Party. Shake your booty. Have sex. Like, do all those fun things because it's going to offset the cortisol in your body. And make sure you're loving being a fucking woman. Love being a woman. Love your feminine energy. And fucking work on your trauma and invest in yourself. I'm going to say this again. I'm probably say this every episode. If you are expecting to have an episode that's going to give you all your free advice and you're not going to invest in yourself, this is a reflection to you that you do not believe that you are worthy, or you are not valuing yourself and you're not valuing others, and you only don't value others when you don't value yourself. So invest in yourself. Go and get the Hormonal Birth Control Masterclass, or go and get Turning Off Your Period Problems program. We're going to link them both below. And or join the waitlist for Queen Alchemy for one-on-one, anything one-on-one related, and whatever else we've got going on to help you get your period back. Okay. MMM is closing very soon. Level 1, level 2, get on it, or you miss joining the Zoom call, which is going to be so juicy. It is live, and if you miss it, you do not get it. You do not get it. So you need to be in the course to be able to come to the Zoom call. And if you are not in the course and you snooze, then you fucking lose. I'm in my ovulation phase. I'm feeling fiery, and that's about it. So join those things. Thank you for listening. Please share the episode. Love you all. Have an amazing day. I'll talk to you soon.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you got lots of chicken nuggets out of today's episode. I would be really, really grateful if you'd be able to leave me a review and a star rating that you think is appropriate, hopefully 5. And if you could share this podcast so that I can help more women live a life of flow and ease, I would be so fucking grateful. Make sure you tag me in it on Instagram so I can personally thank you, because I know so many of my clients have found me literally because their friends have posted about my podcast on their Instagram story. And I just want to help as many women as possible. So by you sharing it, I would be so fucking grateful, and I'm sure your friends would be too. If you do want to welcome me, please do check out my website for all those details. And of course, you can DM me on Instagram with any other questions. If you have any podcast things you want me to talk about, any ideas, any feedback, I am always open to it. And I always love hearing what you guys have to say. So please don't hesitate about that either. I will catch you on the flip side. Have an amazing day or night wherever you are.